Welcome to FNF Victory Road Draft League Season 2 Team Analysis. In this series, I am going to be analyzing the teams that participated in the FNF Victory Road Draft League Season 2. This will be an interview format via DM or call. And today, I happen to have the call with Qazeymoto from the Pitiful Punching Bags. So it's going to be a fun conversation, especially considering how notorious this team is. In all the other team analysis videos, I think only one or two people, out of everybody, only one or two people didn't say that your team was the scariest. Everybody else did. So this is going to be a fun one. So we'll start with the name itself, Pitiful Punching Bags, and your logo, which is also really great. What was your thought process behind making this team concept, with the logo and the name and everything?
So, Wobbuffet is my favorite Pokemon, and I traded for it last league, and I used it every battle. But I wanted to do it again, except I wanted to build a team around Wobbuffet, and the best, way to support him was Hyper Offense, so I thought it'd be funny if it was Pitiful Punching Bags, but it's this extremely offensive team. So yeah, I just thought it was a funny concept, so I wanted to do it.
It was funny, and it was also pretty effective, I'd say. I love this logo, it's so good. And we're going to actually look into the draft itself that you had mentioned. And Hyper Offense is a really good way to put it outside of Gligar, Jigglypuff, and Wobbuffet. Pretty much all these Pokemon could be used in a hyper offensive manner. Maybe not Hitmonchan either, but you did use Hitmonchan later in the last battle, which we'll get to. But so that was pretty much your game plan. Was there any specific way you wanted to do this hyper offense? Strategies you wanted to use when you were drafting?
Honestly, I didn't really know anything. I kind of just Googled hyper offense and went off that description.
Was it a list of these are the top hyper offensive Pokemon to draft, and you just got them?
For Como, I actually did do that. I'm not gonna lie. I just looked up and I saw Como as a Stealth Rock setter, so I'm okay, yeah, I'll just take that one. But the rest of the Pokemon, I just kind of went off what I thought.
It looks like you have a lot of the Pokemon present are kind of they like to set up, Barbaracle, Mimikyu, Como-o, Lucario, Kartana in a way because it sets up when it attacks with Beast Boost. Is that also something you had planned, or?
Yeah, that was definitely planned because Wobbuffet with Encore can lock your opponent into a status move or a setup move, and then you can bring in a setup sweeper to get a free Swords Dance or something because they'd have to switch out because they're locked into Encore.
Yeah, and we did see you use that quite a bit of times. So I think this actually worked out a lot. This is kind of one of those teams that. We had talked about this before, how there's not really a lot of stability. Either the momentum is heavily in your favor or it's heavily not in your favor.
Yeah,
so
you can see that in all of my battles. Really, where one little thing and I just completely get destroyed.
Yeah, so it's an interesting team dynamic, and I think that led to your team probably being having the most wild battles overall. So
also, I get the most wild excuses, The team is fragile. I can be a bit of luck there, you know how it is.
We'll see some of the John-inducing moments later for sure. So we'll actually go into that battle record now. So looking at the battle record, we have your totals here, and you got tied for rank number 7, and you had a 6-4 record, which I believe, it was better than your record last season, and overall, I'd say it was pretty good. How did you think you did overall?
I'm like, obviously I'm proud of what I did, but I still feel like I could have done better just with like if things had gone a little differently, because I think the team I had was really powerful, so I think I might have been able to do better, but it's still like a really good result, so I'm not that mad.
Yeah, I definitely think you were able to pull off quite a bit of cool stuff, and you definitely like solidified a name for yourself, because last time you came in with a team that wasn't yours and it was kind of in the middle of everything, but this time like you were here from the beginning and you were able to pick your team and really show like more of your playstyle. So what would you say was if there was any team that you were most excited to face and any team you were most nervous to face?
Probably your team, because I played you week 10 last, and then last league, and I got completely destroyed. And this league, it was like I just wanted to get that win because you were first, so I thought it'd be pretty cool.
And you did get that win, as you see in the battle record there. We'll talk about that match because that was such an interesting and fun match.
Also, I was kind of excited to face Quest because he beat me really badly last league, and I played like really terribly against him. So I kind of wanted to get that run back.
You were able to face... Were those two matches the worst losses in the last league?
I'm not sure, but I think I got 6-0'd by like one Pokemon.
Oh yeah, Superior. Yeah, you didn't get to face Lionhugs in this league, but
yeah.
But still, you did get those runbacks. What would you say was the hardest, like the most challenging battle for you in this league?
Oh, definitely the battle against Colin, because his team just countered me so well. So it was definitely a tough one. There
was a moment, we'll talk about that during that battle. But yeah. But overall, I'd say that's good. I mean, 6-4, not bad.
It's definitely a good record. I'm not mad about that.
Yeah. So we'll go into the individual battles now, and our first battle was actually the Canada Showdown, the two Canadian players versus each other, and this was versus Northern Necrozmas. So, first of all, you brought the most OP, amazing Jigglypuff moveset. It was, what was it? Pound?
Rest, pound, sing, and roll out.
Yeah, I can't even fathom facing that. That's terrifying. But how did this match go? Like, what was your game plan for this one?
Honestly, my game plan was just to get, like, hazards up. And then either Mimikyu or Como set up, and it kind of just, like, destroyed his entire roster. And I did get that at the end, but then Mimikyu got poisoned and missed a play rough.
Yeah.
So he was able to pull through. So, like, I think I had a pretty decent matchup in this, just because if I got that momentum going, it was kind of over. But in this case, it kind of just got stopped. Like I said, like, Hyper Offense is a very, like, frail archetype, so one little thing going wrong could kind of just ruin everything.
Yeah. The poison from that sludge wave definitely came in clutch for Morgana. I think he played well for the tools that he had, but had that poison not happened, you definitely could have had a shot, I think, at maybe winning this one, or at least sealing that gap a little bit more.
Yeah, it would definitely. Also, like, I didn't really. Since this was the first battle, I didn't really know what to expect. So when like these weird coverage moves started coming out, I was kind of lost. Like Hidden Power Fire, the bane of Kartana's existence.
Oh yeah.
And the Dazzling Gleam on Gengar.
Yeah, that was that probably was a gut punch right off the bat. The Dazzling Gleam. There was also the infamous Jigglypuff versus Tyranitar
Yeah, where it killed it and then got attracted.
That definitely spawned some really great memes. So this is definitely a noteworthy battle in the league.
Yeah, for sure. Also, like after this, me and Morgana like kind of teamed up for the rest of the battles. So like since we did our battle first, we could kind of just talk about it without having to worry about releasing strategies.
Right. The Team Canada.
Yeah.
Although you guys did face each other later in playoffs, but we'll get to that. So the second battle was versus Waterfront Woods, Sir Roland's team. And this is the first battle where you showed what Qazeymoto could really do.
Yeah, I may or may not have gotten him banned. Like, people will deny it, but we all know the truth. We all know the truth of what happened here, deep down.
So I think I had mentioned to you before, or when that happened, I don't know, maybe I'm misremembering, but did you draft Qazeymoto without knowing about the Z Crystal?
Yeah, I definitely did. I definitely drafted him without knowing what the Z move did.
So when did you find out? Was it this battle that you knew, oh, I could use a Z move?
I know, I think it was against Morgana. Like, I saw Commonium Z, like in the Smogon like description. I'm like, what does that do? And then I was so baffled at how powerful that was. Like, it was like 180 base power and it gives you +1 in every single stat. And I was like, whoa, this Pokemon might be a bit better than I thought.
That's pretty awesome considering, like, you drafted this tier 1 who was already pretty promising, and then you find that and you're like, oh shit. Yeah, so in the beginning there was some interesting Trick Room shenanigans going on where I think you had encored Trick Room. And then,
yeah, because you can't, like, in Trick Room, since Wobbuffet is usually going to move first, you can encore them into keep Trick Rooming and then get something going.
Yeah. And you also use it to your advantage with Destiny Bond with Wobbuffet, which was really interesting too.
Yeah, I think it's really funny that if you read, like, a Trick Room, a team that's, like, so speed-focused can just, like, bring out Wobbuffet and kind of ruin their whole day.
Yeah. Yeah, Wobbuffet, it definitely had a good role in this match, I'd say.
He protected me from the gimmicks.
Yeah. And then Como came in and then did the rest. And this...
Yeah, once Gardevoir was gone, it kind of just came in and swept.
This started Como's momentum, and there was like a little rivalry between our Pokemon with Como and Shiftry racing for that MVP slot, but this definitely started it, I think. So we'll move on to the next battle, which is versus Quest, actually, versus Victini. And this is that run back that you wanted. And again, we have Como doing Como things. But this time, Quest actually seemed to have a good hold on the battle at first. But then, when you set up the substitute, that's when it really seemed like it was game over for Quest.
Yeah, like, Sub Como is just really strong because the ability to just take the hit, and then since it has fairy coverage, it can take like a fairy hit and then use a poison move, and then you're kind of... Also, this is the battle where I discovered how powerful Greninja was as a lead, just because it had that like extremely fast taunt and access to spikes and T-spikes.
Yeah, it's definitely a really good lead. I think it was facing Ariados and it taunted the Sticky Web, maybe? I might be misremembering. But yeah, really, really good lead. And when you set up the substitute with Como, it was against Spiritomb, right?
Yeah, I think so. And it had Infiltrator, which actually kind of helped me because it couldn't get rid of the sub, and then when it was gone, Como could take a hit from whatever came in. Yeah,
that was really like it if it didn't have Infiltrator, maybe it would have gone differently because it would have been able to break the sub. But yeah, the Infiltrator ended up helping you. I remember watching it and being like, wait, why isn't it breaking the sub? And then I saw Infiltrator and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was actually really good for you. And I think this is when Como rose to number 1 of the list. And yeah, Como was doing you really well so far. So I imagine, like, after you got the sub up and you were able to use Como to sweep, like, you probably were like, yes, I got the run back. Como's number 1. It was a pretty good moment for you in the league, probably.
Yeah, for sure. It was kind of like nice to see that I managed to pull through.
And you got Como banned. Well, no, Comonium Z banned. Like, you were too powerful.
Definitely me. It was definitely me. Don't let the organizers tell you otherwise.
Okay, organizer admission. It was Qazeymoto. I mean, I knew of the power of it, but I guess I forgot. But then seeing your battle reminded me, and I was like, oh yeah, this is we gotta do something about this.
Yeah, it's just
you could use a fairy, but then it has poison jab and iron head, so it could be tough. But I don't think it's too broken, but it's like just over that threshold where I'm like, whoa, this is really tough.
It's kind of hard to like plan around.
Yeah.
I think for the rest of the league, people were just bringing so many counters for it against me.
I think this was the last battle where like people didn't like I don't think Quest planned enough for it. And I think starting from this moment on, people were like, okay, I'm going to plan for Como. And incidentally, you didn't bring it as much after this. So
yeah, because people kept trying to counter it.
Yeah. So we'll look into this next battle versus Harlem Gloomtrotters. You did bring Como this time, but it was a different set.
Yeah, the reason I brought Belly Drum is because it had like really good damage, and Drizzle liked to use the Belly Drum Slurp up, so I thought it'd be funny if I brought my own Belly Drum user.
Oh, I didn't even catch that, to be honest. That's actually pretty funny. So, you were able to set up a substitute. I think you used Wobbuffet to encore a Thunderwave on Raikou.
Yeah, something like that.
And did you have do you remember if you had soundproof on Como, or was it bulletproof?
It was bulletproof because he tried to Shadow Ball the substitute and it didn't work.
Okay. So either way, it would have helped you, because I think Drizzle Boy was like, oh, I should have used Roar on Raikou, but if it had soundproof, then that would have been blocked too, so...
That's a pretty good idea, actually. Might have to put it in the vault. But yeah, he got Sticky Web up in this video, in this battle, and it kind of like messed me up, because webs just are really strong against me. But I still, both of the times that people got webs on me, I like barely managed to pull through after I was kind of getting like destroyed in the beginning.
I forgot, how did Lucario go down? Was it Raikou who took it down?
Oh, it got like full parried 3 times in a row or something. Because I think it had like a sword stance up, but it kept missing.
I think maybe you had missed a focus blast. No, not a focus blast. That was a different battle. But yeah, he definitely used paralysis in this battle to his advantage. But once you got the sub,
speed control coming from him, and it was working pretty well. But I got pretty lucky and pulled through in the end.
And Como was definitely riding high at this moment. I remember being like, "Oh my gosh, how am I gonna get Shiftry back?" And I think Reuniclus might have still been on the leaderboard too at this point. I don't know, but yeah, this is like the tale of Como and the tale of Comonium Z being banned, and friendship and danger and adventure featuring Como But this was another good battle for you, and you were on. I think this is a 3-win streak. So
Yeah.
you're.
But Drizzle definitely played this one really well, like with the Scarf Masquerade.
Yeah.
He knew, like I expected someone to do that, but I didn't think it happened so early. Like I thought it'd happen after I brought Greninja like a couple more times.
Yeah, that was pretty smart, being able to outspeed the taunt to get that web up.
Yeah, he definitely had like a good plan. And
Yeah, definitely. He planned pretty well. He has some really good game plans. I definitely got to hand him
Drizzle
that.
is like, yeah, you gotta give him that. He's really good at planning.
So the next battle is versus Noob Scrub's team, Patch 3.0 Ivysaurs. And in this one, what was your plan for this one?
I kind of just wanted to like break through his like some of his walls, like Celesteela. I did a Z fighting on Kartana just so I could get rid of it because obviously it was gonna run that flamethrower and try to switch in. But I think the biggest issue in this battle was I was way more afraid of Stoutland than I had to be, because I didn't know that Trace would give you the speed from Sand Rush right away. So I thought I'd have to Mega Evolve before it came out. So I ended up like sacrificing more Pokemon than I needed to.
Yeah, this battle actually called my attention to that because I was thinking, I think at this point, at this point I was considering my trades, but I don't think I had done them yet. But I noticed how Alakazam had Trace, and I was like, oh gosh, whether I'm Sand Rush or Chlorophyll, like this is not good news for me.
Yeah.
So, I remember paying attention to that and being like, oh. But yeah, Stoutland was really, I think, the hardest Pokemon for your team to face. In the end, you did manage to take it down. No, you didn't. I don't think you took down Stoutland, but it could have gone down.
Yeah, he switched it out, I think, to like preserve the KD.
But it didn't have sand anymore since Hippowdon was down, I think.
Yeah.
But then Comfy with his priority Draining Kiss was really like the final cleaner.
Also, don't want to be that guy, but you know, Lucario did miss a Focus Blast. I was in a really good position. Just saying. Also,
Well,
I got really mad because his Stoutland, when it was in like that sand mode, Wobbuffet got hit with a Fire Fang, and it lived at exactly 50%. And I had a Citrus Berry,
oh,
so it didn't activate, and then I died to a return.
damn.
So that was kind of like...
There's always those moments, like, I saw it too in, Roland versus Lion Hugs, where, like, in that case, the berry activated, but, like, it was, like, 1% away from not activating it, and that whole thing, like, was really bad for Sir Roland. So, yeah, there's definitely been moments like that both ways. Yeah, I was surprised when Return killed. Was it specially defensive Wobbuffet, or is Stoutland just that much of a monster?
I don't remember. It was probably specially defensive, but it wasn't, like, it was way off from, like, it barely killed there. Like, I think if either the Fire Fang didn't crit, or it did enough damage to activate the Citrus Berry, Wobbuffet definitely would have lived that one. Especially because it was Life Orb and not Band.
Yeah, and it then could have countered.
Yeah.
Yeah, Stoutland was really good for Noob Scrub in this one. But still, it was a good battle, and Noob Scrub's team is really hard to face. Also an interesting dynamic, too, considering your team is so hyper-offense and his is a lot more defensive.
But he definitely went more offensive with this one.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I think I could have pulled this one through, but it just didn't go my way. So, I mean, that's kind of what you're expecting when you play a team like mine.
Yeah, and there's definitely a lot of risk-reward, too, just in general in Pokemon, but, like, for example, running Focus Blast, like, the reward is huge, but there's also that risk.
Yeah, for sure.
But don't worry, we'll see the reward of Focus Blast coming up later.
I don't think I consider that a reward, to be honest. It was deserved.
Yeah, it had to happen. It was like karma. So after after this battle, you traded Gligar for Moltres. You actually hadn't used Gligar before, so why did you make this trade, and why did you not use Gligar?
I didn't see like a place for Gligar, but I slightly regret it. But because the issue with my team was I had like no fire or flying coverage, like good flying or fire or flying coverage, and it was really hurting me like when I was planning, because I couldn't really do much about like a lot of threats. I think if I drafted more like electric, either fire or flying, in some of my other picks, I think it would have been a bit better. And I didn't really see a place for Gligar, but I kind of regret it because having like switch-ins, especially when you have so many like frail, extremely offensive Pokemon, is really useful, because Gligar could have kind of just come in, done something, and then like pivoted out with a U-turn into a setup Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it would have been more useful if I had used it. But I don't really like necessarily regret this trade just because I needed the coverage.
Yeah, and there's also the quality of Gligar, in which, yeah, you have a defensive Pokemon, but it could also be a momentum drain. So it's hard to tell when and when not. I guess you could have brought Gligar. And also relying on a defogger instead of a spinner means that your hazards too might be at risk. So I don't think that this was a bad trade. And you actually did end up using Moltres in playoffs, not in the regular season. And it was a little bit more defensive than I thought it would be, which was interesting.
Yeah, it definitely has like pretty decent bulk, but its typing kind of sucks, so
yeah,
it balances out.
Also a note, just an unrelated note, I never play remixes and arrangements and stuff on videos, but I didn't realize that one had started playing after the video you sent me. So we got like a Pokemon Emeralds metal remix for a bit, but now we're on the credits round 2 for Pokemon Stadium. But yeah, I just hope that doesn't make this video get like flagged or something. Risk reward, I guess.
Yeah, that's the theme.
So anyways, we're gonna move on to the next battle, which is versus Edgar's team, Moon Drinkers. And what was your plan in this one?
Like, I think this was kind of a sad battle because I forgot to change the nature on Kartana to plus speed, because Kartana like barely outsped like a lot of his threats, like Mienshao and Garchomp. So I think I would have been in a much better position if I actually changed it. But yeah, I was kind of salty after I realized that, so I didn't really like want to play anymore. I was like, oh man, can't believe I did this. This battle was at like 2 a.m. too.
Damn. Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, that's always like defeating when there's one small thing that doesn't work out or you forget, and then it's like, oh, especially with a hyper offensive team. Like, if you were defensive and you forgot to go from like calm to bold, it's still doable, but sometimes that speed is so vital because it's kill or be killed, and then you end up getting killed.
Also, it's kind of like a funny moment at the end where I wanted to get that extra score on my differential, but Edgar wouldn't attack my Wobbuffet. So we just kind of PP stalled for like 20 turns. Yeah,
I remember rewatching and being like, wait, I forgot this happened. And then Edgar killed Wobbuffet in the most dramatic way possible with the Z move.
Yeah. No, shame on Edgar. He should have given me that kill.
And actually, you could use a Z move when you're on Cord, because we see that happen actually in your match versus Sartoad. Oh, so he could have done it earlier, but he didn't. I don't know if he knew, though. He probably didn't know that, because I didn't know that until I saw it happen.
Yeah, I definitely had no idea about that mechanic. Pretty stupid, if you ask me.
Yeah, kind of...
Mainly because it messed me up, but also pretty stupid.
Game Freak will stop at nothing to oppress Wobbuffet.
Yes.
Sad. So in this one also, Mienshao is really a big threat because high jump kick. I'm not sure what happened first, but once Mimikyu went down, Mienshao was able to use high jump kick. I think that happened.
Yeah, I don't really remember because I'm so mad that Kartana didn't go first against Mienshao.
Yeah, because I think Kartana has like 117 and Mienshao has like 111 or something like that.
I think it's like 109 and then Mienshao's 102. That might be Garchomp though. I don't know. I know it was like very slightly less though.
Well, still, you did have some good wins before this, so you still weren't knocked out of the running of playoffs. After this one, you faced Blitz City Haxorus, which was Colin's team.
Yo, I got destroyed in this, I'm not gonna lie. I got, like...
So I think
Tapu Koko just kind of obliterated me, because it was faster, like... It's like one of the fastest Pokemon, and it's like really good. So...
I think the big thing here was that moment where you forgot or you didn't know that Haxorus had Mold Breaker.
The classic me not knowing about abilities. Making a comeback.
Otherwise, I think this battle would have gone very differently. At least Haxorus wouldn't have had the 3 kills. It would have had 1 at best or none. Because you were ready to go with Mimikyu.
I think if I did attack early, like, the battle, like, probably would have gone on. Like, it would have been closer. But in the end, like, this is like the one battle where I can't say, like, oh, I would have won if this happened, because it was, like, at the beginning, and his team was, like, so good against mine, so I honestly doubt if I could have actually won. Like, I don't know if the excuse works in this one.
Yeah, this is definitely a really tough matchup, especially with Coco, Rotom Wash. Barbarkle was able to finally take down Haxorus, I think, but Haxorus had already done a lot of damage at that point. And then I think your only hope after that was Mega Alakazam, and he still had Mega Lopunny alive. It was so sad because after all that had happened, not only did that all happen, but Tapu Koko's Thunderbolt, I think, paralyzed Mega Alakazam, and it was just like the game was spitting on you after.
Yeah, it's just sealed my fate.
That was a sad moment. So this was a tough battle, but the next battle went differently versus the Visionary Tricksters, King Fuse's team. And this one was pretty simple. It was pretty much just...
Yeah, well, to be fair, like, King Fuse didn't actually make a team. He just used an old one that he had. So there isn't really much to say about this one.
Yeah, his team definitely didn't seem well equipped for Mega Alakazam. And surprisingly, Mega Beedrill doesn't outspeed it. I keep forgetting just how insanely fast Mega Alakazam is.
Yeah, there's a reason Mega Beedrill is UU.
So, pretty much it was Spike Up and Sweep with Mega Alakazam.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't make a team, so...
Yeah, I remember this battle because it was like 11:50, and I was like, well, I guess I'll just do the recap and put that he didn't make it, and I updated the doc, and then it was like, oh, I'm here. I'm like, oh. At the very, like, the last possible minute.
Yeah, definitely not much to say about this battle. Tangrowth was definitely a threat, though, so I'm glad Wobbuffet managed to take it out.
Yeah, I think you had a really good read, actually, because it used knockoff, and then you countered, and then it used Giga Drain, and you mirror coded.
Yeah.
So that was versus the Visionary Tricksters. The next one is versus the Star Conquerors, and this one was extremely close.
This was definitely an extremely interesting battle.
So what was your game plan with this one?
Honestly, like, my matchup was looking really good until he got webs up, and then it was kind of scary.
Yeah, especially with Dragonite.
He, like, Benji, like, his record doesn't really show how good he is, because he planned amazingly for this battle.
Yeah.
Like, he he really had me like locked down at the beginning, and I barely managed to pull it out.
At the end, it like came down to Wobbuffet mind games. I think I was actually talking to him about it. I think if he chose to roost with Dragonite, he maybe could have won it because he would have activated multiscale. Even if you encored, like, I don't think Qazeymoto would have been able to break through the multiscale, and he would have just kept reactivating it with the roosts until it ran out.
Yeah, maybe.
But it was super close. Like, he also didn't want to get Destiny bonded, so that was also
I think
thing.
like at the end there, the situation with Wobbuffet, it was kind of because he chose to like Dragon Dance instead of killing Wobbuffet.
Yeah.
So it kind of just like there was a decision he made before that where I think if he did it differently, I was probably gonna lose, but it kind of went in my favor, and then I got that like Wobbuffet situation. So yeah, it was extremely close, and he played it like really well.
Yeah, definitely. Electrode also being a good help to him, paralyzing.
Yeah, Electrode just
Qazeymoto, I think.
The crazy speed on it kind of helped him.
I'm always a fan of when Benji uses Electrode. I love Electrode. It's so cool.
The upside down Pokeball.
Yeah, the pinnacle peak design Pokemon. But yeah, this one was pretty fun. And then we go into your match versus Sun and Friendly, which is my team. And this was your last battle before entering the playoffs. So the context is that, well, yeah, it was the last battle before entering playoffs. You needed to win by any amount. If you lost, you weren't in playoffs. If you won, you were. So it was extreme pressure, plus the fact that we had gone against each other in Season 1 in Week 10. And I think it was the same situation where you could have gotten into playoffs if you won by a big margin, though. I'm not sure if I remember. But so there was a history there.
Yeah. This was a very strange team.
So what was your plan with this team? Because it was so unlike your other teams.
My plan was just to surprise you as much as possible. Because like every time, like in all your other battles, you kind of just had like the predictions on lock, and your teams were just kind of so prepared. So like if I bring something like completely out of left field, maybe I can pull it through.
And you did that, for sure. I think I was like, when I saw you lead Jigglypuff, I was like, what's going on? And then when you used Stealth Rock, I was like, oh no. Because
yeah, the Jigglypuff set was like, I was talking to Morgana about it. I'm like, yo, if I can land a sync, 55%, I can get like my entire setup going.
And you did, actually, versus Gigalith, which, like, I definitely wanted to use in Trick Room, I think. I think I had a Trick Room team. Yeah, I had a Trick Room team going where I wanted to use Gigalith as my physical sweeper and Torkoal as my special sweeper under Trick Room. So it really was like, damn, when Gigalith fell asleep. And yeah, you had also status control with Misty Terrain and Safeguard.
Misty Terrain, I can't believe, like, it didn't really help me that much because it kept running out, like, right before I needed it.
Yeah. But still, it was wild.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
So the battle had ended up coming down to Togedemaru versus the World. And
yeah, that 4-1. It's so crazy that it got 4 kills in this battle.
Hitmonchan was about to kill it, and then my secret
100% accurate. By the way, Drain Punch. That definitely would have killed.
Bright Powder claiming clutch.
And then why did you run Bright Powder? I still don't understand.
Because I was thinking, like, oh, what item can I run on Togedemaru? And I was like, honestly, I have no idea. Like, I had no idea what item I wanted. No item made sense to me, because I wanted to preserve Sturdy. So I was like, I don't want Life Orb. I didn't want to be choice locked. I, like, Focus Sashed it makes sense, because I already had Sturdy, so I didn't need it.
Could put like a healing berry. I don't know, just a suggestion, you know.
and I didn't put any, like, I think I considered a healing berry, but because I thought you were gonna run hazards of some sort, I was like, nah, because like once Sturdy is gone, like it's not living anything because it's so frail. So I was just like, you know what, Bright Powder, why not? And it actually ended up helping.
Going for the hacks.
And it came down to Alakazam hitting a Focus Blast when I was holding Bright Powder, and it actually worked. So
I was praying for that Focus Blast to hit.
You know, it's wild when your entire like chance of getting into playoffs is on whether you could hit a Togedemaru with Focus Blast.
I mean, honestly, I could have used Psychic because it was a 2-hit KO.
Yeah.
And I was gonna, like, Trick Room was just about to run out, so I was gonna outspeed, but Focus Blast is cooler, so.
It was the most stylish way you could have entered playoffs, and so you needed to do it.
I do regret, like, at the beginning, I switched in Como on Mesprit, forgetting it was a fighting type.
Yeah, I was
think
confused.
If I went Barbarical there, I could have, like, been in a much better situation, because I was going to get that Wish, and then it had, like, a guaranteed, but you were going to Trick Room up anyway, so.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I was confused when you switched it in. I was so sad when my Zen Headbutt missed, though. There was a lot of misses in this game that were just like...
Yeah, this was definitely a luck-based game, like, especially with sleep turns, like, deciding the game.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. So I really enjoyed this game. It was a really fun one, and you ended up winning, so you got into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Well, not only did you get into playoffs, but you got into the playoffs with Rule of Cool, and you managed to get the run back with a Jigglypuff on your team. So, pretty awesome, I'd say. Pretty awesome end to the league.
For sure.
So, looking at overall your Pokemon, we have the differentials up for each of them. Your best one being Como-O, ending up with a plus 11 differential and getting in, was it second or third? Or tied?
I think it was tied, yeah. But yeah. I think because of how, like, it works, it was third.
If it was tied, it would have been tied for second. So, it tied for second then with Gengar. And you ended up using Wobbuffet 100% of the time. You didn't end up using Moltres or Gligar, but you will use Moltres in playoffs, we'll see later. So, what were the Pokemon that you liked using most of the Pokemon you had?
I definitely liked Greninja and Wobbuffet, obviously. Barbarical was also pretty cool. I'd actually drafted him because Tiller had them last league. I'm like, oh yeah, he's a hyper offense guy, so maybe I should try it out.
Yeah, and it worked out. It did pretty well for you.
Yeah, I think in a lot of battles it kind of was like the win condition.
Yeah. Were there any Pokemon that you didn't like using?
Oh, Kartana. Kartana, definitely. Just, like, the existence of Hidden Power Fire just is so disgusting.
You kind of sneeze on it and it dies. Like, its special defense is so bad.
Like, just the combination of Hidden Power Fire being special, 4 times weakness, and it has no special defense, means it literally dies to anything.
Yeah.
See, we need to get it in Gen 8, no Hidden Power available. It can just run through everything.
No hidden power, but also no Z moves, which hurts it a lot, so give and take.
Yeah.
Then again, like, I don't even think you need hidden power fire. You just need any special attack, really, that hits neutrally, and it goes down.
True. But just hidden power fire just makes it, like, so much.
That's definitely the worst. Was there, Any Pokemon that maybe you felt like you slept on and actually ended up doing really well?
Well, definitely Como, because I didn't know what its Z move did.
Yeah. You didn't know why it was in Tier 1. Like, the very thing that put it in Tier 1. I just thought,
like, oh yeah, those stats seem pretty decent, and it was on this page for a hyper offense team, so why not?
And then on the flip side, was there a Pokemon that you thought would be really good and then was kind of like, eh?
Well, again, Kartana.
Yeah.
Just because of Hidden Power Fire. Also, Lucario was sitting there with like a -4, but I think like every time it came out, it was in an extremely good position.
And then
like, and then it got like hacked, like so many times. Like against New, it was like poised to like do like huge damage against his entire team. And then it missed a Focus Blast and died immediately. And then like against Drizzle, it got like full parried over and over again. But I think it was like, it like helped me a lot with momentum. So I think it still like was a really good Pokemon, despite like the -4. Same thing with Greninja, it helped to set up a lot, even though it died most of the time.
Yeah, I think Greninja was more of a support Pokemon, and then Lucario, it was so unfortunate because it either like flinched and died, or it missed and died, or it hit a Pokemon with Sturdy, and then that Pokemon retaliated and it died. Like
every time it was like in such a good position, and then it just got obliterated.
Yeah, I remember versus Benji, you were at like +4, and then you went for the close combat versus Steelix. Steelix lived and then killed it because of Sturdy. I was just like, damn, this Lucario can't catch a break.
It really couldn't. And then Wobbuffet with that, I'm so happy it got a 7-9. It was so close to a neutral. That would have been just like the perfect differential for it. Just differential of 0.
Yeah, it definitely helped out a lot, and it managed to get a few kills on the way, so...
Yeah, it's kind of like a 1-for-1 Pokemon.
Yeah. So, yeah, overall, pretty interesting hyper offense draft, and it was cool to see. And you'll actually be taking this into the playoffs, which we'll look at now. We start at the winners quarterfinals, and this was versus Morgana's team, Northern Necrozmas. So we started with the Canada battle, and we ended with the Canada battle. This first one was
I'm not gonna listen. I got destroyed. Like luck aside, flinches and all that. I got obliterated this match.
Mega Garchomp definitely was really strong, but all the opportunities you had to stop it, like Hydro Pump missing, flinch. I think there was one more. I forgot what it was.
Yeah, but like even with that, I still think like Morgana just kind of had me figured out, because he knows all of my teams. Like he knows exactly how I play.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, he did still have a whole team behind Mega Garchomp waiting, but that luck was quite the thing. It was like you hit the Focus Blast on a Bright Powdermon, and then the luck gods are like, okay, you get no more.
It's like, yeah, you can have that one battle, but we're right back to the Kazi luck.
So the next one actually wasn't as luck dependent. There was still a flinch moment on Wobbuffet, rest in peace Wobbuffet, but you managed to at least get 2 kills. So how did you think this game went?
I was definitely sad because Wobbuffet flinched twice in a row, because Garchomp definitely would have been dead.
Yeah.
And it would have been at 0 kills instead of 3. But then it got like, it kind of just destroyed me. I might have been able to bring it to game 3, but like Morgana just knew exactly what was up, and I didn't really, because I wasn't really looking at his teams. I was kind of just going off of what I did the first time I played him.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like Morgana had a lot of knowledge at his disposal. And Gengar was also pretty useful to him too. So overall, it was a pretty tough first set. But your second set, I think, was better. in losers round 1 versus Detroit Dinos, which is Startoad's team. And I don't think you had faced Startoad actually in the regular season, did you?
No, I did not.
Yeah, you didn't. So this was your first time facing him. So what was your game plan going into this one?
So this was like the first time I brought Moltres because it one-hit KO'd Araquanid with a Hurricane, and I didn't want to deal with that Pokemon, so just being able to get rid of it right away was really useful.
Yeah, and you did that like turn 1, I think. It was just like boom, gone.
Yeah, and I definitely needed that because I did not want to deal with webs.
Yeah.
And then I got like really lucky because Alakazam came in on Magneton and got to +6 because of Trace and Magnetful.
Yeah, that was very unfortunate for Startoad.
Yeah, for sure.
He was choice locked, so he couldn't Volt Switch out of there, and you just set up in his face, and that's pretty much the game.
Yeah.
So
I think this was like really lucky for me because he didn't get to see like the sets on any of my Pokemon.
Yeah.
But,
I think on the flip side, you also didn't see his sets though, because once you were set up, you just obliterated everything pretty much.
Yeah, that is true.
So this was a pretty wild first match, and Magneton inadvertently ruined it for Startoad, and Mega Alakazam really clinched it for you.
Yeah, for sure.
Did you like think, okay, I have to make some changes going into the second one, or did you just think I'm gonna bring the same team since he didn't really see it?
I think I changed like 2 natures and 1 move maybe, but oh yeah, I changed Wobbuffet to a Custap Berry. Just to get that surprise off, but it was unlucky.
So that this time, I think he managed to get Sticky Webs up this time, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
And then I was about to defog it, but Salamence Z moved through the Encore, which I had no idea worked.
And that managed to take down Moltres in one shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you don't have any other defoggers on your team, right?
Yeah, no, Moltres, like, I thought, like, with its bulk, it could kind of get one through.
Yeah, this was a pretty wild battle. Startoad won it with 1 HP. And it was thanks in part to the Sticky Web and to Salamance's Z move.
Yeah, this was a really unfortunate battle, because I could have, Wobbuffet was out against Gardevoir, and it would have lived the Shadow Ball, like, guaranteed, but then it got crit, and then, like, if it lived the Shadow Ball, I could have, Custap Buried, and then got rid of the Gardevoir, and then, Alakazam would have been at full HP to take out Magneton, but then it got crit, so it kind of just ruined me. I think I could have, got, like, pulled through without having to go to Game 3, where he kind of, like, adapted hard.
Yeah.
But unfortunately that didn't happen, so yeah.
Always
just
coming down to those luck.
Just one move brought Startoad to the grand finals.
That's pretty intense.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and he definitely he changed Magneton to Sturdy, which helped him too. Like,
yeah,
he definitely
if he
needed
didn't have that Sturdy there, things would have gone differently.
So the final battle, Game 3, this time, I think he ended with Salamence, yeah, Scarf Moxie Mints.
Yeah.
And did you expect him to bring Salamence, like Scarf Salamence?
I didn't really know. Like, I didn't know what to expect. I just, kind of went for the same thing again.
Yeah, because the first 2 were pretty close, so, like, it was like, okay, this team can work, but he made that change, which I think in the end, that's what outsped, I think it was Kartana and Alakazam that you were down to.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, like, if he didn't have that Scarf, he actually would have probably lost, so it was a really good change on him.
Yeah. So that was the set. This was a 1-2, and that was the last battle of the league that you had. You definitely made your mark, though. Like I said, everybody saying that your team was probably the toughest one that they had to face, or they were the most nervous to face your team. So you have that reputation, which is cool.
Yeah.
Do you think that you're gonna go hyper offensive again next league? I think you told me you weren't. Like if you join, but I think actually you mentioned you had a strategy that you wanted to pull off. But I don't know if you want to leak that to everybody.
Yeah, I'm not sure really. I think this is like kind of what I wanted to do with hyper offense, just like the Wobbuffet thing. It's sad that I got out of playoffs so early, but it was definitely a good run.
Yeah. I was anticipating, like, I was like, okay, am I gonna have to face the Pitiful Punching Bags again? I was already mentally preparing for that. Because you definitely did a really interesting job versus my team, and I wanted to see like what a set would be like. That would have been really cool. But yeah, I think you did really well. You definitely improved too since last season, and there was some learning moments. Like now you know Haxor's has Mold Breaker. Now you know that Z moves can be used outside of Encore, things like that.
Yeah.
And you were able to use
definitely like try again with this concept with a more like optimized version, but this was good enough if I'm being honest. Just how I did with it.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people are thinking that way too. Like, yeah, I think I did the hyper offense. It's time to move on to something else. So next season's probably going to be a lot bulkier, which we'll see.
I mean, maybe I'll go Pitiful Punching Bags too with some annoying bulky Pokemon just thrown in there just for switch-ins.
Yeah, true. You could definitely do that. There's space, like, you had so many sweepers that, like, there's space for defensive Pokemon if you needed them.
Yeah, like, if I just did, like, better coverage, and then, like, instead of some of the other Pokemon, put, like, some crazy, like, bulky Pokemon, it could have worked out, like, extremely well.
In terms of, like, what you took away from, or what you learned from this season, was there anything, like, aside from those, like, small things like the Z Crystal and Mold Breaker and stuff, did you learn anything new about, like, playing your playstyle, different Pokemon, things like that?
I think, like, a big thing was you have to be careful about which Pokemon you actually sacrifice, like, just to get a better position. Because I think sometimes I just kept in a Pokemon, like, whatever, I'll just get rid of this one, when I should have, like, considered it more, like which one I wanted to actually get rid of, because then in the late game you can be in a much better position.
Yeah, it's especially for hyper offense, you really have to think about how you manage everything, because like you said earlier, like we both mentioned, one small thing is all it takes for things to go completely, like, berserk.
Yeah.
In a good way or a bad way. So yeah, but it was really interesting, and I'm really glad you joined, not only because you brought a really interesting concept, but I think it was also cool to see, like, you using that concept on your own, like, not just picking up a team that somebody else made, but actually being able to do it from the start. So I was really glad you were able to join for that reason. And you also rocked my socks with Jigglypuff, so, like,
yeah,
legend, honestly. So this about kind of wraps up the team analysis video. Is there any final thoughts you have? Any declarations you're gonna make? Will we see Pitiful Punching Bags? Well, you said we might, maybe. We might. It's a possibility, again.
The one declaration is I definitely got Commonium Z banned. Just
don't believe I'm gonna pin this on Noob Scrub. I'm gonna pretend I'm the cool organizer and be like, yeah, like I'm gonna acknowledge it.
Yeah, but that's about it. It was a good run. Very interesting team.
Yeah, definitely. Probably the most interesting. Sorry to all the other teams, but really, really fun team. So, all right, thank you so much for joining me on this team analysis video. And
thanks for having me. It was interesting.
So tune in for some more team analysis videos coming up. They will be of the rest of the playoffs. Participants, I actually have one coming up right after this, the Ember one, which I had already recorded. So lots of stuff coming, and then grand finals coming up. We'll see how that goes. And yeah, until next time, this is Noel from Sun and Friendly, and I'll see you then.